Okay, in this lesson I want to do a web safari, kind of a demonstration to look at the three main cloud service providers and the ones you'll most likely be working with. We're going to start with the biggest by far, which is Amazon Web Services, which is 5 times bigger than the next competitor, which would be Google Cloud Platform. At AWS, there's a couple things you're going to want to do. All of these, by the way, allow you to create an account that gives you up to a year of different types of free access or free credits. So you should go and create an account using an email address or create a new email address with some company like Gmail or Zoho or someone like that, and go up and get a basic account from AWS, Google, and Microsoft Azure, and familiarize yourself first of all with all the different services, and realize that there's 4 main categories of services typically with all of the CSPs. That's the compute services, then you have your storage services, then you have database services, and then technically speaking, networking and content delivery would be that 4th core service. Now, Google Cloud, they consider machine learning a 5th core service, and so there is some differences here. But the first thing you're going to want to do is to familiarize yourself with those main core services: compute, storage, database, and realize with storage, we're looking typically at different tiers of object-oriented storage, or if it's encrypting file system, for example, it'll be block-based storage. So different categories. So under compute, you'll have server-based computing, like spinning up instances of, within EC2, or spinning up instances in Google Compute of Linux or Windows services or servers. But they also have serverless, okay, or functions as a service. So it's serverless, running code in the cloud like Lambda or Google Functions. And then you'll have some rapid deployment kind of managed services from these providers like Elastic Beanstalk from AWS. Storage, like I said, is going to be object-oriented and block storage. Your database services are going to fall into the categories of being typically a SQL type database or a NoSQL document type database. Those are the 2 main categories there, and then a lot of different, managed and semi-managed options. And then, of course, at the core of networking is creating your own virtual private cloud or your own virtual private clouds. And then, of course, machine learning is probably the next big category. All the providers are heavily involved in, artificial intelligence, machine learning, using these algorithms, for example, for like translation services. So taking every different variant across the planet of the French language, regardless of whether you're from Montreal or the Cameroons or Vietnam or Belgium or France, and take all those different dialects and translate them through machine learning into one language like English or German, for example. And then, of course, understand the different security offerings. And this is where you can learn so much. They're all going to have an identity and access management service, but they may also offer other types of federated and single sign-on services, advanced security like guard duty and inspector, certificate management and key management service. They'll all offer some type of key management service. They'll all offer some type of application layer gateway or firewall. Here it's called WAF, Web Application Firewall, and other tools, for example, like a cloud-based hardware security module. Okay, so that's at AWS. The next largest would be Google Cloud. Okay, so here you can see Google Cloud Platform, my first project. And if I go up here to the navigation menu, you can see that they have kind of broken these up again into compute, into storage, into networking. And then here's Stackdriver is their tool they use to monitor both AWS and Google. Okay, and then you've got some big data tools down here as well. Their machine learning is in the artificial intelligence area. They're all going to offer container services, Dockers and Kubernetes. Okay, all of them will do that. And like I said earlier, they're all going to offer some type of identity and access management features where you can create your own users and roles and groups, or you can leverage, your Active Directory implementation. So familiarize yourself again with the different offerings, the different services, and the different security offerings especially. So we come down here to security, that they have, cryptographic keys manager, they have proxy services. Here's Azure. Azure also has its various services, its icons, okay? Compute services, its app services, storage, SQL, okay? Kind of the same type of thing. They're going to support, PostgreSQL, MySQL, and maybe other variants. They also have their own container-based Kubernetes service. You'll also want to go take a look at their security center and be aware of the security services that are offered through this particular CSP. So you can see that they break theirs down here into policy and compliance. They've got resource security hygiene, providing security for their main core, compute and apps, networking, data and storage. They have their advanced cloud defense solutions, okay, adaptive application controls, file integrity monitoring. They have their threat protection and also their own security automation and orchestration. So again, want to stress the importance of just kind of getting your fingers in the pie of the different security solutions to provide technical controls, administrative controls for your IaaS, PaaS, and even your software as a service solution. Don't forget that all of these different providers are going to have their own partnerships. Microsoft has a bunch of partners where you can, use their different services. AWS is also going to have their partnerships. So if you want to go to, let's say, EC2 here, and you want to go look at some managed solutions, you could do that. Okay, you could go look at AMIs that are from the marketplace. Okay, so if you go here, you can see the AWS marketplace, and you can see all the different categories of these images, which you can use various partnerships. And most of the major companies are partners with Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. So you're going to see these types of managed solutions, these marketplace solutions with all the major cloud service providers.